This
a trained
content,
librarian.
Again.
A trained librarian? It's your kid.
Should this be available for middle schoolers?
Middle schools, I would go along with middle school, but not elementary.
So you think maybe middle schoolers, maybe they're 11 years old, should they be seeing how to blow a bomb?
No.
We're not trained, and I don't know. Are you a trained librarian to make a conclusion like that?
This
A trained
content,
librarian.
Again.
A trained librarian? It's your kids. What do you mean, are you trained? Are you trained to know what your 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid should see? What do you mean? How is that even a question?
This is sexually explicit. This is graphic.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. You often hear Democrats talking about how Republicans are banning books, but what books are those, and more importantly, what's in them that people are finding offensive? Today, I'm in Philadelphia at the Moms for Liberty Summit to find out. Let's go talk to some people.
Shout out James Klug.
Books that they're looking to have removed from schools. Why are you shutting down her voice right now?
I'm a guy, actually.
No one's trying to shut down your voice. We don't speak to fascists, and so we're good.
I'm not a fascist.
Okay, we're good.
What is a fascist?
Why are you guys protesting Moms for Liberty?
Because they're pretty much against all the things that I value. They're basically for authoritarian government. They're against democracy. They're anti-LGBTQ people's existence. And I'm very comfortable now not calling these people fascists as a way of insulting them or calling them names.
You genuinely mean it.
Descriptive, historic meaning, and there's no other way to categorize them.
We're obviously here at the Moms for Liberty Summit. We're speaking with some protesters. We'll start with the first accusation that they've made, and that is that Moms for Liberty represents and supports fascism. Are you a fascist?
No, I'm not.
Are you guys fascists?
I'm not. Are you? I am not fascist.
No, I am not. I am a proud American.
Let me define the word fascist. Because sometimes people in these type of videos like to throw around words, and I don't really want to get... Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader. Jesus. Centralized autocracy. Military. This is just every bad word that you can possibly have in politics, all within one definition. But all in all, it's basically when the government is ruled by a dictator. Okay.
Who love this country, the land of opportunities.
You're here at Moms for Liberty. You're obviously not a part of it, but you're here, working the event and all that stuff. Are you a fascist, and do you think that these people come off as fascists?
Well, last time I checked, I was not a fascist. And I actually know both the founders, Tina and Tiffany. They're moms. These regular people. They're very humble. They're not fascist whatsoever. They just care about the state of children.
It's kind of funny when they say that we're Nazis. It's funny and silly to me, and I just don't. All we're doing is trying to protect our children, save America, and that's all that we're doing. So, and of course, empowering parents. So, of course not. No fascist.
Nope.
All right, so we got that out of the way.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
What would some examples be for you that would kind of show you that this is more of a fascist group?
I have an answer to that. Because besides their platform, which is anything but freedom or liberty, what they do is they harass and intimidate people who want to speak out against what they're doing. On the local level, there has been harassment and intimidation by this group. And again, they are not for the values that any American should cherish, regardless of their political party or affiliation, or if they're not even politically minded, because this isn't the American way to...
Every time I hear like these definitions, and I'm not trying to pick a side here, but I genuinely don't know like what they're talking about. Like when you hear someone talking and you can hear the words coming out their mouth, but you just don't really understand like what's the context, what's the objective of you speaking. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Like, I hear the words, but I really don't know who Moms for Liberty is. I don't. And I'm pretty sure you probably don't either. So from what she just said, does it give you a better idea of what they do specifically? Probably not, because it didn't do that for me.
Say that teachers and librarians can't decide which books are appropriate, and they have that agenda to build from the so-called grassroots parents' rights. That's how they get people hooked in who aren't really paying attention. It's not about parents' rights.
Really quick, I wanted to talk about the books.
Yes.
Because that's going to be that's a big focus of people inside banning books. Have you heard that in the media at all?
Yeah.
Banning books. Have you guys heard that narrative?
Yes.
Okay. You've heard that?
Yeah.
So I have a couple screenshots from a couple books here.
Okay.
These are a couple,
Hold up.
2 books. So we have Trans Bodies, Trans Cells. Have you guys heard of this one?
Nope.
No.
We have record of it being removed and in high schools all across the country. This is called Trans Bodies, Trans Selves.
What?
Referring to transgenderism. And in this book, this is a photo right here. These are blurred out, but these are little,
What is that?
model penises, basically.
What? Oh
Those
my
are
goodness.
Blurred out wieners. And then this is a seemingly naked transgender individual in the book. Actually, in the book,
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
and you can either agree with this or disagree with this, instructs youth on how to find and make pornography in this book. Okay. There's photos of naked individuals that are trans.
They're not in my school library and they're not in my public library.
So we have no problem with these being removed from school libraries. Is that correct?
It's not an issue. I'm not interested in it.
Issue. Okay. This person's
What?
naked.
And this is the problem I have. You look at something like that, then these books are for elementary and middle schoolers, and you be like, oh, this isn't an issue. Automatically, I believe that the best interest for these kids doesn't ring a bell to you. You don't really care about these kids. You don't really care about the future of these kids. Because if you can look at this image and in your mind somehow formulate your words to say, yeah, this is fine, then I just can't trust you.
Let's say it's in high school. Should students have access to a book like that?
If it's going to help them in their lives in high school, yes. A child who is thinking, am I trans, am I not trans, might want to think about, well, what would my body be like?
In a part of it, they instruct youth on how to find and make pornography.
Oh.
Do you believe that should be allowed in high schools, public high school libraries?
It's a yes or no question. It's easy. No.
All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk.
No, it's easy. No. Like, why are people thinking about this? Why are you thinking about this? See, you get so caught up in your political ideologies. You get so caught up in the side. You support this side so heavily that you can look at something that's 100% wrong. And just because it may or may not disagree with your political ideals right now, you won't even consider it. Like, you will look at this type of, oh, they're fascists. Be like, okay, they support this. Do you support it? You obviously don't support it, but you refuse to say it because it goes against your beliefs. And people like that, I can't trust you. I really cannot trust you because you don't care about society for real. You care about supporting your side, point blank, period. You're untrustworthy.
A thin air, making your dollar worthless. Not to mention the recession risk.
Okay, he's doing it.
Love
bad.
hearing that. You can invest with confidence because the quality and service of my friends over at Allegiance Gold. And here's, of course,
Sources to help them through
Correct.
the difficult period of time in their lives.
Correct.
And censoring these books is not helpful.
These are tough questions. But I'm very liberal.
Yeah, you're very liberal. Is this a left or right issue, having this in schools?
High school kids should be able to handle that. By the time they get to high school, they should have been exposed to all that.
So by the time they get to high school, they should be exposed to naked transgender individuals in books?
Well, it depends on the community where they're from.
Depends on the
like
community.
in rural areas, like up in the hillside. Probably
Up
not
in the
exposed to all
hillside?
that.
So could
But
you-
if they're more, urban, like the city, they're all exposed to that.
Do you believe that is age appropriate for even high school? What do you think?
No. I don't even want to look at it.
You should feel safe sending your children to school. This is not safe. This is not safe for children to see.
This is pornographic. Pornography can exist in images, it can be cartoon and illustration animation, and it can also be in explicit texts. And so having graphic literature and content is not appropriate for schools.
It's not something that is necessary for kids to have. You know, I'm 38 years old, and not that long ago I was in school, and we didn't have anything like that, and we turned out just fine.
Yeah.
So I think there's a deliberate push to make people think that we need to be more sexual with our children as far as like discussing it. But I don't think it's a focus that should be had.
Tracy and I have both found hundreds of sexually explicit books in our children's library.
My personal opinion on this is that when it comes to school, and I've said this before, I don't think any of this stuff should be discussed in school, because when I was coming up, it wasn't discussed in school. This is why when I react to videos like this, some terms I really don't understand, because this wasn't shown in my schools. I went to a STEM school, so we focused more so on just the topics. We wasn't talking about this. That's my personal opinion, especially not in no elementary or middle school. So it shouldn't be brought up at all in schools. And I think if you want your child exposed to this type of stuff, I don't know who would want their child exposed to that type of stuff, but leave that stuff at home for the parent and the child to discuss. For you to have public schools showing this, it's absolutely insane.
I found
within your school district?
Yes. In my son's high school, my son's middle school, and even in my twins' elementary school, there's gendered transition books. And when I asked for those just to be moved to an age-appropriate place, not banned, we get shut down. So all of the books are pretty much still there. So we're definitely not banning books. If a parent wants to go out and buy these books themselves on Amazon or go to Walmart, they are more than welcome to do that. But we don't think that our taxpayer dollars should be paying for those books, especially when they're sexually explicit and age inappropriate.
When it comes down to taxpayer-funded schools, public schools, is that something that maybe people should be dealing with in their own personal lives and not at their publicly funded school, or no?
No, I don't think so. I think that the schools are responsible to help our children grow and adjust, all of our children, and adjust to being in the real world. When I was a young man, which was many, many years ago, we had Playboy. You know, we learned it through Playboy.
But Playboy wasn't in schools. What are you talking about? That stuff, you couldn't go to your fifth grade library to get a freaking Playboy. You have to sneak it away from your parents or something. Like, do you not understand? Do you not hear yourself? It wasn't in the school libraries. This is insane.
Have it in school?
I'm sorry. How is this different?
Did you have it in school?
No, we did not have it in school. But
that would be how it's different.
But now, I think what is different about it, it's realization that kids have sexuality and are waking up to it, and it's better that they be educated about it by professionals, by people who can screen those books in the schools, make like the librarian, and make determinations who it's appropriate for and where it'll be.
Now, if this book is instructing youth on how to find, there are sections of it, it's not the whole book, instructing youth on how to find and make pornography, is that over the top or no?
If you're giving me a hypothetical, because I'm not agreeing that that's what that is, probably it would not be appropriate in a high school. And frankly, kids can find that online anyway. Mm-hmm. It is so easy to find.
That's correct. But there is a difference between what's in a public school library and online, though, right?
The difference is that whatever's in a school, the kids have access to talking to adults about it.
Sorry, I ain't talking to fascists.
The problem is that, so he basically said, or they were basically saying, school should prepare you for the real world. But my thing is this, and that's kind of like a dense, it's not a good statement to me, because there's obviously different grades for different reasons. Like, you learn a different level of math in the 5th, 6th, 7th. It just progressively goes up. So the problem with a book like that is that if you're showing it to elementary school students or middle school students, I feel like you're kind of exposing them to something that I don't think you should be exposing them to, or at least you shouldn't be exposing to that yet. That is insane. Like, you start hitting puberty around age 12. Like, you're just now hitting puberty around that age. So the fact that this is being shown to kids is pretty scary, if I'm being honest.
I'm not a fascist.
Yeah, you are.
No.
You gaslighting.
What part of fascism says that people want to have open discussions?
Honestly, But you're trying to lead me into
not acting in good faith. They're trying to put you in
I'm allowing this person to have their voice and speak their opinion. You're literally preventing this person from speaking. And I'm acting in bad faith, but you're shutting down the conversation. Is that correct?
I have asked many times, can we just have discussion? I would love to discuss with the people that are actually in the reading committee that continue to vote these back in. Why do they think that that's appropriate? Convince me. Yeah. Show me I'm wrong, that this is appropriate for children, middle school, high school, even elementary. We found some inappropriate books in our elementary school, but they won't even let us discuss it. No.
And the reason they won't let you discuss it is because there's no real benefits for the children. My thing is this. As a parent of a child in these type of schools, you are given the right to discuss what your child is exposed to. I think all parents in the schools are given that right. So if a parent came to me and I had a school and I put something in the school that I believe should be there and they disagree with me, I would discuss why I think that belongs there. And if they disagree, they have a right to disagree. And I'll tell them why I put it there, the benefits it has. I have the numbers ready, but when you refuse to discuss these type of issues, it just shows that you don't really have a real reason as to why it's there. It shows that you're scared that you're going to get outsmarted by whatever, and that you just don't want to be proven wrong. So that's why they don't want to discuss it with you. It's not that you're wrong. It's that they don't even know why it's there. But anyways, if you want to finish the rest of this video, go to James Klug's channel. It is L4 Jojo, and I'll see you on the next video.